you are quoted to have said that President Mahama can deal with Galamsey in 5 days.
No, I never said so. What I said was the president at the time could have dealt with Galamsey in a week because he was commander-in-chief.
In a week, yes. So he's been in office for 97 days.
Yes.
Has he dealt with it?
Well, I believe that action has been taken. It's not been conclusive. And again, it would be unfair to expect that President Mahama in 96 days will fix the rot of 8 years. When I made those comments about President Akufo-Addo, I didn't make those comments at the beginning of his term. I made those comments about 3 months to the end of his term, when he had had the opportunity. He had expended taxpayers' money in Operation Vanguard. And you had rather seen instances of the people who were supposed to fight this becoming complicit in it. So President Akufo, at the time I made that criticism of President Akufo-Addo, he had had the benefit of almost 8 years in office, a full grasp of the state machinery. He had had the opportunity to take action. Under President Mahama, in 90 odd days, and don't forget, his ministers being in office 60 odd days, you've seen action that has recovered 7 forest reserves from illegal miners. Can we do more? Absolutely. Do I expect to see more? Certainly. But again, like I said, it would be unfair to expect that in 90 days, one man will clean the mess of another for 8 years.
So the 1 week point was in relation to the then president?
Yes.
Not that your candidate, our president now,
my tweet was very clear. I said President Akufo-Addo, the buck stopped with him because he was commander-in-chief.
But then did you say that Mahama could deal with it in a week?
No, I never said so.
You said Akufo-Addo should have dealt with it in a week?
Yes.
Okay, maybe my people pull up the tweet just to be clear.
They can pull up the tweet and I can be quoted
in politics, we also need to be consistent.
Yes.
And then we need to be clear in
I think I myself will be able
just
to
be sure.
Okay. Yeah, so that we can all have a look at it. But I mean, as you proceed, I'll find
But you admit that the pace that this government is using to fight Galamsey is much slower than we anticipated.
But Bernard, again, it comes back to anticipation. And anticipation is, look, the level of anticipation for me actually speaks to how low we had sunk under the previous administration. That people expect that in 8 weeks or say 12 weeks of President Mahama's government, what they had seen, the mess that we had seen for 8 years will be fixed, speaks to how poorly.
No, they'll find it, don't worry. But don't forget that this is not Mahama's first term. So
I'm going to read the tweet. I'm going to read the tweet.
Yes.
I made a tweet on the 29th of September 2024.
Please read it for me.
The man who is paid to be president has the ultimate power to end this in a week if he wants. He's commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, for Christ's sake. This was the quote.
And is this not generic to a president?
I was speaking to the man at the time. It was made in November. That was the time when we were at our wits' end. That was the time when the civil society, I made this tweet at the time the TUC had threatened to go on strike. The day the president was meeting TUC and urging them to step down from strike, they issued 12 new mining licenses in forest reserves.
Okay. In terms of forest reserve, by the way, why did this government choose not to repeal LI 2462, which gives them right for people to be mining forest reserves? Looking at the level of opposition to that, to say that you are only removing the president's power to sort of veto the minister, that's quite, I mean, limited.
I hold the personal view that the whole LI should be repealed. That's my personal view.
Would you advocate for that in Parliament?
Absolutely.
But the matter was debated. I didn't hear you.
Unfortunately, I wasn't in Parliament on the day.
Where were you?
I was serving the country at another function.
Okay. Well, sometimes I need to put it on record. So let me hear you clear. You're saying that your personal view is that LI 2462 should go in its entirety.
It should go in its entirety. It should be repealed in its entirety. Because look, I still hold the personal view that Galamsey is a crime against humanity.
Wonderful.
And irrespective of which political party is in government, whether it is the NDC or the NPP, and irrespective of who it is that's engaged in Galamsey, it is illegal and must be dealt with holistically.
Okay. You can tell from the questions I'm asking you that there's a lot of expectation on the government.
Sure.
But also because the victory was very big.
Yes.
And so you've said that 8 years, a lot of bad things happened. But I don't think we've seen this type of victory before, probably except Rawlings' time. So that should tell you that there was a lot of dissatisfaction with the MPP.
Yeah.
Now, how do you interpret that pressure as a new government?
It means we can't fail. It means we can't tinker with solutions. It means that we should not try or carry out trials. We must go straight. If our decision is to deal with something, we must be forthright with it. We must deal with it because look, the Ghanaian people have entrusted us with a certain level of leadership. Like you said, that's unprecedented. Not even Rawlings, with the exception of the 92 parliament, which was boycotted. There's been no competitive parliamentary election where a president has the kind of majority that President Mahama has now. It is a clear statement of intent on the part of the Ghanaian people that they expect us to be ruthless with dealing with corruption. They expect us to be candid and forthright with dealing with graft and anything that affects the livelihood of the Ghanaian people. They expect us to deliver with candor in everything that has been entrusted to us. And that's why, for me, I hold the view that it's not in line or in tandem with the kind of margins that we've been giving if we do not go straight and deal with issues as ought to be dealt with. And I'm setting the example in my